All right, what's going on YouTube? My name is Xavier, and I'm kind of sitting in a little small ritual space of mine, and I just wanted to basically give an account on my working with the great and the powerful Duchess BUNE. Some may call, you know, he may be called Duke BUNE or Duchess BUNE. This is the 26th spirit within the Goetia or the Goetia. The lesser keys of King Solomon. And I guess I should start off by saying that she's great. She's amazing. She's patient. She's very kind. I would when I first started invoking the great and powerful Duchess BUNE, I I foolishly came into the ritual space asking for something. Not but kind of right off back. Yeah, kind of right off back, which is I would advise no one to do because it wouldn't make sense to just like perhaps walk up to someone on the streets and and instead of introducing yourself, you ask them to do something for you. I would advise not to do that, and I realized the error of my ways. I realized that that was kind of foolish of me. So I would say, yeah, probably around the second or third time I invoked BUNE because I like to invoke these spirits. I don't really like to evoke with the Solomonic circle and the triangle, which, from my understanding, would be trapping the spirits within a triangle and, as they say, forcing the spirit to do something for you. No, I wouldn't advise that at all. I would advise that in this particular case with the powerful and mighty Duchess BUNE, again, some of you may call her or him Duke BUNE, but I want to say she came before me as a woman with the head, with a bird with the head of a woman, a blue bird. And I also want to say that throughout my workings with the great and powerful Duchess BUNE, I want to say that the offerings of blood isn't really necessary. I want to say, I mean, if you want to get things done, if you want to guarantee perhaps that things would get done in the future pertaining to whatever you may ask the great, mighty, and powerful Duchess BUNE on whatever you want, I would say dedication is a good way of doing this. Show great dedication. That's what I do. I show dedication. As I'm making this video now, I have not offered blood to BUNE, but there are things that has been happening in my life that I'm almost sure came from BUNE. I'm almost certain. And it's the very reason why I'm making this video, because I've seen things happen as I've done rituals for her. And again, I have not offered any blood. I don't think it's necessary. If you want to, by all means, go ahead. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I I tend to show dedication, and for a lot of spirits, that seems to be enough. If you can show loyalty, if you can show dedication, especially with BUNE, who is very loyal, and I would also say she's full of wisdom. Full to the top with wisdom, man. If you can just open up your third eye and listen and pay attention, you'd be surprised at what you learn by sticking with the great and powerful Duchess BUNE or Duke BUNE. Yeah, I would also say when you go before BUNE, show great respect. That's what I do. I know every time, well, not every time, but most of the time when I go into the ritual space and I do a ritual with BUNE, I even say this sometimes, great, mighty, powerful Duchess BUNE, I give you the utmost respect that I can even give my own mother, which I stand on. Um, it's not really out of fear. It's not particularly out of fear. It's out of respect. I have great respect for the Duchess BUNE, or Duke BUNE, as some of you may call her or him. Um, and yeah, she's she's great, man. I would go on to say that she's fucking awesome. She's fucking awesome, man. If you remain loyal to her, she will remain loyal to you. You know, I will also say that I'm going ahead and say this too, because I haven't really heard anyone talk about perhaps this dark side of the mighty, powerful Duchess BUNE, which, if she's patient, she is, but if you don't stick to what you say you go do pertaining to a pact, um, yeah, I mean, she's patient. Don't get me wrong, she's patient. She'll give you time to do what you say you're gonna do, but time is the key word here. She will give you time. That's part of being patient. Um, if you want to invoke her, I would say Friday is the perfect time to do it. It's the day of the Dukes. It's also a day where perhaps Venus rules the day, and that's the best time to invoke the mighty and powerful Duchess and or Duke BUNE is on Friday. I tend to do it every, like 4 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the morning, or maybe starting at 5 o'clock in the morning to um, invoke and contact the great Duchess BUNE. And as far as her presence, I want to say it's very subtle. It's very subtle presence. It's a very um, kind presence. I would say that. And I would say BUNE is also kind. She's kind of silent, but when she speaks, it is I don't know. It's amazing when she speaks. She speaks maybe of warnings, of maybe of things to help you in your personal life get closer to whatever you asked her for. Because remember, when you ask these spirits for something, eventually, or even if you just work with them, you know, you're going to find yourself changing inside, which I think I've, kind of witnessed firsthand. Um, and yeah, I also should put this out too, that I'm kind of still a beginner at this. You know, I've been invoking BUNE for probably 3 months now, 4 months now, and when you do this, when you invoke BUNE into your ritual space on Friday, which I would advise those, if you want to do it on Friday. Um, she likes. I want to say she likes. What I use is orange candles. I would use sandalwood incense. I would bring offerings of oranges, apples, and red wine. Sometimes I would just bring oranges and apples. And all of this is, from what I understand, all of this is appreciated. It's greatly appreciated, especially if you bring it to the altar with intent, with the intention to offer it as an offering to the great, mighty, and powerful Duchess BUNE. Uh, it's very appreciated. And I would say if you want to go through and do a pact with her, you know, do so. Stick to your end of the bargain, 100%. Please, I would advise everyone to stick to their bargain if you make a pact with any Goetia spirit of these Goetia demons. I don't really like to call them demons. I like to call them spirits, but to each his own, right? And yeah, she's fucking amazing, man. She's great. She's great. There's honestly nothing else I can say except for she's amazing, she's great, and she's loyal. I would say if you're loyal to her, she'd be loyal to you. She's great. I would say yeah, yeah. if you wish to summon the great and mighty, powerful Duchess BUNE, as I tend to call her when I say her name like that, I say great, mighty, and powerful. Go before her again with any of these spirits from the lesser keys of Solomon. Go before her with great respect, man. You want to have respect first and foremost before start asking anyone for anything. And again, I was foolish enough to do that. I was so foolish to do that on the first ritual because, in a way, I was rushing, which is dangerous. I wouldn't advise anyone to rush through this. Um, I'm actually lucky to have, ended up where I ended up now because, if another thing, I would say go before these spirits, especially Duchess BUNE, because, don't go before her with any, uh, agendas, like hidden, you know what I'm saying? Like hidden agendas, because you want to be transparent as possible when speaking with these spirits because they can see all of that bullshit coming from a mile away. If you want to come up and, have a secret agenda or hidden agenda, we could use those words. When I summon any spirit from the lesser keys of Solomon, which right now it's the great Duchess BUNE, I would go before her as transparent as I possibly can. Before I go into the ritual space, first and foremost, I like to meditate with my, sitting crisscross applesauce with my palms faced upward, closing my eyes, and I would go through my body to make sure everything is relaxed. So in my, I would close my eyes. I would go through my head, and sometimes I would have music, meditation music playing, which helps a lot. I would advise people to do that if you want to, you know, uh, um, clear your head before going into these rituals. Perhaps listening to meditation music would be a good thing, helpful even. So I would close my eyes and I would probably have to make a separate video about that, but I would close my eyes and I would go through my body and make sure every part of my body is relaxed. Is my head relaxed? Relax it. Is my neck relaxed? If not, relax it. My elbows, my shoulders, they're not relaxed? Relax them. My knees, my calves, thighs, toes, whatever the case may be. Close your eyes, go throughout your entire body, and make sure everything is relaxed. This is important when going into these ritual spaces because you want to suppress your thought as much as you possibly can. And that helps a lot because thoughts can get in the way of the communication between you and these spirits, and you do not want that. I would also advise, if you can find techniques, to perhaps open up your third eye, which would, make it easier to hear or sense or hear what these spirits are saying to you. Try to do that. They would have to probably be a separate video, but it's not particularly hard to open your third eye if you can just go on YouTube and find methods. There are a wide variety of methods of opening up your third eye. But with that being said, back to the great Duchess BUNE, that's how I meditate. That's how I go into the ritual spaces. And like I said, if you want to, I would advise you have an altar. She likes orange candles, sandalwood incense, oranges, apples, chocolate cake, rum, red wine. All of these things are very appreciative if you can bring them to the altar with intent. Um, when you're done with the red wine, I would say it would be okay to throw the red wine down the drain. And for me, I would put the oranges or the apples. I would put them in the woods behind my house. I live in a lot of a wooded area, and I would before I do these things, I would always say, "Great, mighty, powerful Duchess BUNE, I do not consume the oranges or the apples or the cake out of respect because I don't want to do it out of disrespect, I guess, if that makes any sense. So I should put them in the woods around my house for nature to tend to them." I do not consume the offerings because I think that is disrespectful. Um, some people think differently. Do whatever works for you. That's another thing I need to. I should probably clarify. Do whatever works for you. Whatever you think feels. What you feel when you do these rituals, do it. As long as you do it with respect, great respect to the spirit. Bear that in mind. But yeah. Um, Hail the great, mighty, and powerful Duchess BUNE. Hail BUNE. Hail BUNE. And yeah, she's great. Like I said, I would even go far as to say she's fucking amazing. She's amazing. Um, Especially if you can, kick the relationship off with her correctly at the first ritual or the second ritual, which I don't think I did. But if you could, things would start going smoothly. I've seen it, I've heard it done. Um, and just keep in mind that respect is key, dedication is key pertaining to Duchess BUNE. She loves dedication and she likes public praises as well. If you make an offering with her, perhaps you would say, "Great, mighty, powerful Duchess BUNE, if you if this is done for me, in return I shall give public praises. I shall spread your name. I shall spread the goodness of you, how kind you are, you know, how elegant you are." Because BUNE has a very elegant, there's a very, very elegant energy about her. Um, Excuse me. But yeah, that's probably all I have to say for today. Um, Hail BUNE, hail BUNE, hail BUNE, and all who wish to invoke BUNE, you know, may she guide you. May she guide you along that path. You have to put in the work on your side if you want anything to happen. But if you ask for anything and you notice a change in your life, by all means, give public praises. And don't, when you go into a pact with any spirit, be realistic. You want to be realistic. You want to be specific. Realistic mean you don't want to, you don't want to go before BUNE and say, "BUNE, if you do this, I will then spread your name for the rest of my life," or something like that. Or I would, say that you would do something that you can do. Anything else that you won't be able to do and that it would be challenging for your personal life. That can be dangerous. I would say that could be a bit dangerous. But I'm not trying to scare anyone away from BUNE. She's perfect. She's amazing. Um, just really know what you're saying if you want to get into a pact with her. I would say that. Really analyze your words carefully. Um, for what you want, when you want it to happen, and what you're willing to do if these things do, come into flourish into your reality. Make sure you stick by it. Make sure you stick by the pact. That is very important. And I think I've seen that firsthand. That is very important, or things will start happening. But BUNE is very patient, though. But patience can wear out. Patience can wear thin. I should put this out here. BUNE, just because BUNE is beginner friendly, she's very, she may be one of the most invoked spirits in the Lesser Keys of Solomon. Just because she's beginner friendly doesn't mean, patience can run out and she could grow very impatient with you. I would say that. Don't think that that's not possible. But with that being said, again, I know I've said this 3 times, but hail BUNE, hail BUNE, hail BUNE. She is so great. She is so amazing. And yeah, it's not difficult to do research on BUNE. I would advise everyone do research on BUNE if you wish to do anything with BUNE or do research on any Goeta spirit that you want to do business with. Do the proper research. Don't be lazy like me. At first, I was a bit lazy. My life was there was a lot of things going on in my life, so I would use some of these things as an excuse. You don't want to do this. No. If you This particular art form requires um, knowledge. It requires building knowledge. It requires research, uh, dedication. All of this helps. You don't want to go into the ritual space and not know what you're doing, especially with, someone as patient as the great and mighty Duchess BUNE. You want to know what you're doing. You want to know what you're getting into when you do things like this. And yeah, with that being said, hail BUNE, and may all of you have a wonderful day.